Every single day you are being fed information, news, social media, people's opinions, your boss's logic, your own instincts, and most men, most people, absorb all of it without ever stopping to ask one question. Is this actually true? Not, does it feel true? Not, does it confirm what I already believe? But, is this actually true? That gap between consuming information and processing it is the gap between the man who reacts and the man who decides, between the man who gets played and the man who plays the game correctly. That gap has a name. It's called critical thinking. And here's what nobody tells you. Most people think they have it. Almost none of them do. Here's the question I want you to sit with. If critical thinking is supposed to be so valuable, why are most intelligent people still making the same bad decisions year after year, over and over again? High IQ, college degrees, years of experience, and still bad investments, wrong relationships, wrong career moves, same arguments, same results. That's not a knowledge problem, that's a thinking problem. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what critical thinking is, not the textbook definition that sounds good and means nothing, but the real, operational, dangerous version of it. The kind that changes how you see every decision you've ever made and every one you're about to make. Stay with me. Most men think in theory. They say things like, in theory, if I work hard enough, it'll pay off. In theory, he's a good person. In theory, this business idea makes sense. Theory is comfortable because you never have to check it. But a man with critical thinking skills does something dangerous. He checks. He constantly asks, what does the real world actually show? Not what the book says. Not what the motivational speaker said. Not what your gut tells you. What does the evidence actually say? And here's the part that requires actual courage. If the evidence says you were wrong, you change your position. Not in 5 years, not when it's convenient. Now, most people can't do that. Their ego won't let them. They'd rather be wrong for a decade than admit they need to recalibrate. The man who thinks empirically isn't emotional about being right. He's invested in being accurate. That's a completely different thing. Think in terms of multiple causes. Here's where most smart people collapse. Something goes wrong. A business fails, a relationship falls apart, a plan doesn't work, and they immediately look for the reason. The single cause, the one thing to blame. But almost nothing in real life has one cause. Your finances aren't struggling because of one thing. Your relationship didn't end because of one argument. That city didn't become dangerous because of one decision. The world is multi-causal, and the man who reduces everything to a single explanation will always be manipulated by anyone who hands him a simple story. Politicians know this. Advertisers know this. Social media algorithms are built on this. Give a man one villain, one cause, one enemy, and he'll stop thinking. He'll just react. The critical thinker forces himself to ask, what else is causing this? Even when the simple answer feels satisfying, especially when it feels satisfying. This one is subtle, and it's the one that separates amateur thinkers from elite decision makers. Most people can figure out the direction of something. Interest rates go up. Housing gets more expensive. Okay, you got the direction right. But here's what they miss. How much? Because the size of an effect is what actually determines whether you do something or you don't. Everything costs something. Every decision has a trade-off. And if you don't understand magnitude, if you just know this is bad or this is good without knowing how bad or how good, You will constantly make the wrong call. Men debate in directions all the time. Exercise is good. Eating clean is important. Investing early matters. Great. Everybody agrees. But how much exercise? How clean? How much to invest? At what cost to everything else? Without magnitude, your thinking is just a feeling with a confident voice. Think like a fox, not a hedgehog. Philip Tetlock, a psychologist who studied expert predictions for decades, discovered something that should shake every man who thinks he's got it figured out. He found that experts are terrible at predicting the future, not just slightly off. Embarrassingly wrong, economists, political analysts, military strategists, wrong, consistently, confidently. But then he found something interesting. Some experts were significantly better than others, not because they knew more, but because of how they thought. He called them foxes. A hedgehog knows one big idea and applies it to everything. He's ideologically committed. He has a framework and he fits the world into it. He's confident. He's decisive. He's usually wrong. A fox knows many small things. He holds multiple frameworks loosely. He's willing to say, "I don't know yet." He updates when new information arrives. He makes modest, accurate predictions. Here's the hard truth most men don't want to hear. The man who sounds the most certain is often the most dangerous to follow. The man who says, "It depends," and actually explains what it depends on. That man is thinking at a different level. Are you a fox or a hedgehog? And more importantly, which one are the people you're taking advice from? I'm going to tell you something that most people cannot sit with. You are biased right now about something that matters to you, and you don't know what it is. That's not an insult. That's biology. The human brain has a default setting called confirmation bias, the tendency to seek out information that supports what you already believe and to unconsciously dismiss anything that challenges it. You don't feel it happening. That's what makes it the most dangerous bias of all. It doesn't announce itself. It just quietly filters your reality until the world appears to confirm everything you already thought. This is why two men can look at the same situation and see completely different things, and both of them feel certain they're right. The critical thinker doesn't pretend to be bias-free. Instead, he builds a practice around catching his own bias before it catches him. He deliberately seeks out the strongest version of the argument he disagrees with, not to be agreeable, but to stress test his own thinking. Because if your idea can't survive contact with the best opposing argument, it's not a belief. It's a comfort blanket. Now let me bring this together, because critical thinking isn't just 5 abstract abilities. It has 9 concrete elements that you can start applying today. Clarity. Can you explain the problem clearly? Not to experts, to a child? If you can't simplify it, you don't understand it yet. Accuracy. Is the information actually correct? Not, did a trusted source say it? Is it verifiable? Men make life-altering decisions based on information they never once checked. Precision. Are you being specific? Vague thinking produces vague outcomes. I want to be successful is not a thought. I need $8,000 a month in passive income by 36 is a thought. Relevance. Are you focused on what actually matters? Or are you getting lost in noise? Most arguments in relationships, in business, in politics, get derailed by irrelevant information someone introduces to distract from the real issue. Depth. Have you asked why enough times? Most men accept the surface answer. The critical thinker keeps pulling threads until he finds the root. Logic. Do your conclusions actually follow from your evidence? Or are you making a leap and calling it common sense? Significance. Are you solving the right problem? Are you focused on what will move the needle or what's loudest? Fairness. Are you applying the same standards to yourself that you apply to others? This is where most men fail the hardest. We're ruthless about other people's reasoning and charitable about our own. Creativity. Can you see a third option when everyone else sees only two? The critical thinker doesn't accept false dilemmas. He builds new paths. Let me close with this. Critical thinking is not about being cold. It's not about being the guy who always pokes holes in everything and never commits. That's not a thinker. That's a coward hiding behind skepticism. Real critical thinking is the opposite of passive. It's the most active, most courageous thing a man can do, because it requires you to constantly challenge what's comfortable, what's familiar, what you were taught, what you want to be true. The man who thinks critically doesn't need the crowd to tell him what's right. He doesn't need the algorithm to shape his worldview. He doesn't need a tribe to validate his conclusions. He builds the mental infrastructure to arrive at truth on his own, and that in a world designed to keep you reactive, emotional, and dependent. That is one of the most rebellious things you can do. Not just working harder, thinking sharper. If this video hit different, share it with someone who needs it. Drop a like and subscribe, because what's coming next on this channel is going to make everything we've covered today even more dangerous in the best possible way.